Okay, so before we get to the regular topic of what you wanted to talk about, you just said a line, and I wanted to. You said a line that, am I not better to you than 10 sons? Right? We're not better to you than 10 sons.
There's a reason why he said it with you.
First of all, my sons never bought me food yet once. I have to pay for all their food. So you're already way better than 10 sons. Okay? Even if it was Smash House, which deserves one person promoting them. Okay? I don't know anything about it. I'm just choosing sides because generally you look what everybody else holds and the opposite is true. It's, if there are people who only invest contra, what's that guy's name? The big investor.
Inverse
Kramer. Inverse Kramer, contra Kramer, whatever he does. So like in Hashkafa, it's much more obvious. You listen to the Hamaynam, and or you know what? You listen to anyone who's posting on the internet, and the odds are the opposite is true. So it's a safe bet. So Smash House. Okay. I'm sad. I'm too old to say radical things. Like you don't want to ruin your whole career, like in your 80s, you know. But maybe that was it. It was all that was tongue in cheek. It was a joke. Don't take me so seriously. Okay. We're very chill there. Okay.
I'm not going to have swap.
What? I'm not going to get any. Don't cut it out. Whatever. I said it. I have to pay the consequences if people get upset.
You talk good about it, and the owner of Smash House is going to come down and be like, Rabbi Isai.
I know you all over the internet. Smash House.
He's not going to know what to do with this.
I think this whole Smash House thing is over, but anyway.
Yeah, I don't think it's a hype either way.
Okay, listen.
Yeah, you're like the game.
Anyways, so you said I'm not better to you than 10 sons. So it's just bashert. I wanted to test this. Someone called me Choshev Rav, who's a big speaker, and he called me. He was going to an event, talking to older singles, girls. And he said, what do you tell older singles? What's the message? So, how old? He said, some of them are old. So, it's definitely the hardest people to talk to in the world, I think. What can you possibly say? So I gave him a safe thing to say, and then I gave him a radical thing to say. And he's like the type of guy who's tzaddik and would never tell me that I sound like I'm a shugana. And I told it today. He just said, "Thank you very much. I really appreciate. Very helpful. Very appreciative. You know." But it could be like the biggest meshugana in the world. So I have Baruch Hashem, I have like my little safe place. I can say this, and no one's gonna like post me saying it on the internet. Right? What's the worst possible answer?
Find the highest bridge.
What? No. So the first answer I gave was a safe answer, the right answer. The right answer is the most important thing is never give up. Never give up. And you have to figure out what to do that you still. And there's 2 degrees in giving up. Giving up doesn't mean don't stop dating. We don't stop calling shachan. Giving up means. I ever said it here? My giggle story. Such an important story. If I never said it to you, you have to hear it. Okay. I worked for Aish, and Aish had a girl whose whole job, I'm sure she had other jobs. I told this story so many times, and every time you lie a little more, you know. So it gets better and better. Right now, she only worked for me. Okay? But there was a girl in the office, one of her jobs probably, or I say her like a main job, was making sure that I don't mess up. Because I'm like a little bit of a disaster, but I had to be every day to give a shiur somewhere on campus. So her job was to call me every morning and say, Feldheim, you're giving a shiur today in Austin, Texas. Your flight is from Newark at this time. You have to leave by this time. Your topic is this. Here's the number you call when you get there. Here's where you're staying. Here's your car rental, whatever it was. And then she called me when I'm on the way. Like, did you leave already? You know, when I land, you landed? Like you made the flight? Like that was her job. It could be always her only job. That's a big job, right?
Yeah.
But every day she was in charge of me like for years. And every day I talked to her a couple of times. So I don't respond to emails, so usually she emailed first, or texted, and then she had to call me because I didn't respond. Anyways, so I never met her. And then they called me from the office once, and they said, you know, we're having a big office event for Rosh Chodesh. Everyone's coming in, can you come? When I took the job for Aish, when I left Yardley, the Wolfson said, okay, good, you're going to go work for Aish now. You're going to give the shiurim for them. They need someone to give like compelling shiurim. And I was skeptical because Aish is like a real organization, and I'm not that kind of like corporate. I'm risky for them, you know. I say things online that they were probably sitting there in the office cringing all like this all day long, you know, like. So I went to the meeting and I told them 3 things. I said, like, I warned them like a little bit about this, and then I said, what else did I say? I said, I don't do meetings. You guys probably do mostly meetings. You know, like real corporations, everything's meetings and strategy. I said, I don't do meetings. I'm not coming into the city to meet. Nothing happens. Just tell me what you decide. I'm a team player. I'll do whatever you say. But just decide without me. You know? Like, I don't want to be in the meetings. I don't come into
You don't like meetings.
What?
You don't like meetings.
No, I don't do meetings. Number 2 is, and then the guy goes, I've never heard it, like, it's a job interview. You know what I mean? Like, he's telling me, and the meetings, and the guy goes, anything else? I go, I smoke a lot. I go, did you ever hire a smoker before? They look at each other like, who's this idiot? Like, what? Why do Aaron, and they can't say no to Aaron Wilson, you know, like, so I said, in fact, you know what? I'm gonna go outside, have a cigarette. You guys can think about all this stuff. You know, like, I went outside, I had a cigarette. I stopped smoking eventually because I had a heart attack on an Ace trip. You know that story? Yeah. On the Ace trip, I had a heart attack. But why am I telling you the story? Because so they asked me to come in. I said sure. They were very fair to me. They didn't make me come in. This is a nice thing. They're having a lunch. I came into the city, and I gave a share. A short vart by for all the staff, everybody who worked there, and I met this girl. And I said, "Oh, it's so nice! I finally get to meet you. Well, we were talking every day for like 2 years. I never met you." She goes, "Yeah, where you coming from?" I said, "Lakewood." So she goes, "Oh, Fakewood," or maybe I was a tone. Maybe it was, "Oh, Fakewood." That's what she said. So I said, "Oh." I said, "You know what? Let me tell you something. I always wondered like why you're not married."
Oh, man.
Listen. I said, I always wanted. I said, you're the most amazing girl. You're on your game. You have the hardest job, like manage me, and you do it with a smile. I never felt like you're frustrated. You do it. You're even keeled. Everything's amazing. You're put together. You're on your game. No lachats, and you figured out this dance amazing. I couldn't figure it out. I said, and let me explain something now. Someone has to tell you. I said, it's an amazing line. The first thing I do when I get home is I already know the first 3 guys are going to call and go to this girl called it Fakewood. And we're all going to sit and go, wow, the line, who's this girl? I said, it's an amazing line, it's really sharp, and you should be proud of yourself. And I don't blame you for 1 second. I probably know half the guys you dated that made you say that. Like it's probably very well warranted that you're saying that. And the guy's on a date. If you say it on a date, they're gonna go, such a sharp girl, it's amazing, like she's on the ball, like she's in the. It's all good. The problem is that life is hard, and the guy goes on a date. What a girl means is and lichtigkeit, and you are the light in his life, and he loves that you're sharp, but he's not marrying you. It's geschmack to go back to the earth and say, I went out the deepest, sharpest girl in the world. She's amazing. No, she said fake good, right? Another girl said, "Oh, you're in the urge." Yeah, I was like, that was 30. No, it wasn't the other way. I heard that. It was the herb.
Better.
The herb. It was talking about the herb. Do you live in the herb? Are you in the dorm or the urge? That's what she said. That was 40 years ago. I heard that line.
Is she married?
Yeah, girl, she has grandchildren. But I said, there's the sharp lines. I said, but the guys need light. I said, it's warranted why you're saying it. I have no tightness why you feel it. You're right. The problem is that people need light. And they're going to love that you said it, but they're not going to want to marry you. I said, what you have to do is you go on a date. This is what I need you to do. Just listen to me. I listened to you for 3 years, every day. Listen to me one time. Before your next date, you sit in the mirror before the date and you practice giggling. Okay? Just practice giggling. And every single thing the guy says, giggle. Okay? Even if you can't imagine how it fits. Okay? He says, Bar Torah, giggle. He says a line, not just jokes, giggle, whatever you say. And just everything he says.
That's what they've been doing all these years to me?
Well, listen, I say you just giggle whatever he says.
That's the Mexicans do.
I said you need.
It's good. It makes sense.
I'm lost. Well, you're dating Mexicans?
I didn't call Mexicans something, you just giggle.
You made it sound like you were dating Mexicans. It wasn't. It's good. There's no video facing that way. Okay? he's working, he means his workers, okay? No one in my share is dating Mexican girls, okay? Or Jewish Mexican girls, firm ones, but they don't giggle. Right. So that's what I told her. I said, just be lit up. Don't be bitter. The bitterness it's warranted, and I have no tightness, but it's not serving you well. You just go. A guy goes on date, the girl giggles everything he says. He goes home, he had the best date ever. I was a rock star. I don't know why she thought it. That was funny. It wasn't really funny, but I'll take her word for it. That's what guys think. That's what we think, you know. And we go home. We go, what a date. She loved me, you know. That's what we're very simple guys. So I ended up leaving Asia eventually. I didn't see her for years. And then I was by this Hunt Valley Marriott in Baltimore. They do the AJOC convention. I went to the AJOC convention one year, Association of Jewish Outreach Professionals, something like that. I went there, and this girl walks by with a baby carriage, and she pushes it. And I see her, and I go. She looks at me. She goes, "Hi, Feldheim." I giggled my way to the chuppah. That's what she told me. It's a very important story. That's what I told this rabbi. Tell my story, and it's not just when I say keep on going and don't give up. I don't mean to stop calling shadchanim. I mean even on the dates, don't let the bitterness get to you.
This is the worst thing to tell them.
No, that was the safe thing.
Oh, that was the same thing.
Yeah, it's a different parameter of safety.
Oh boy.
If it didn't remind me to call this person back, I'm making a surprise birthday party 1 day's notice for my mother. So if anybody wants to call her tomorrow, stop by.
Where?
There's not too many places you can do on 1 day notice in Lakewood that's not taken, right? It's a big birthday. She's turning 80, and my brother told me he's going. And the birthday was supposed to be after Shavuos. I had 2 weeks now to take care of it, but he just told me he's going to Eretz Yisrael for Shavuos. It's not going to be back. So, and I'm going to be in Miami. I got a flight back in the morning on Sunday, so I'll be back. So I had to do it now. She's coming tomorrow for her house. You know, we're fixing up her house, so she's coming in tomorrow to buy flooring, to pick out flooring. So she's coming up with my brother. She has no idea, and I'm getting all the relatives and nieces and everybody's going to be. But I'm doing it in this new place. I'll let you know how it is for the shir. It's not so new anymore. It's called
Where is it?
Burger Bar.
Oh, really good.
Next to Porcelain?
Really good.
Wait,
Next
so
to Borsley. That's
You
Tatika.
can't post this. Not to make sure to post it.
Yeah,
We have
post this.
two restaurants.
Shot.
We have 2 sponsorships in the share already. Smash House and now Burger
Does your
Bar.
mother watch the YouTube?
No. No.
Someone might watch it in public with the ring party.
Anyways, though, you're gonna ruin my whole party. You can't tell her. Nobody.
Yeah,
My
we won't
mother,
tell her.
my
We won't
mother
tell her.
finds out before she watches my YouTube. Well, don't post it till tomorrow after 7. Okay.
So you really.
So,
I'll PM it. I'll fire your message.
Yeah.
anyways, it's a lot of bittul Torah this week. We're not on our games over here. What happened? You know why? Because we ordered from Smash House. Tim Malay, little Tim Malay. Look at what it's doing already. We haven't learned the word yet since we're here.
Wait, I want to hear the Nazi thing you said.
Okay, so that's what I'm telling you.
So
So,
what does she do after she gets married? Because all of a sudden she's all serious, and the guy's like,
giggling?
"What the hell was
No.
that?"
The guy's like,
yeah, but that's what every guy says anyway.
the guy asked her to clean his clothing and she giggles. She's a Mexican though.
You know what? It's fine. I'll take that. Okay? Okay.
Mexican Jewish lady.
What would you rather have? Would you rather have clean? You rather have a starched shirt, or you rather have a wife who giggles about everything? It's worth it.
I'll go for somewhere in between.
No, as she said, she giggled away to the chuppah. It did not continue. After
Yeah, to the chuppah, even medayik, to the chuppah, right?
You're just giggling.
Right. I saw you yelling at the kid. No, just joking. Whatever. Got new glasses? Very nice, very nice.
Cardi.
By the way, props to the tzaddik over here. He drove my daughter both ways to Muncie, Erev Shabbos, and picked her up Matzah Shabbos. I picked her whatever to go home. And, okay. He's a big tzaddik. And Muncie's very big. Like, if you didn't like have a friend pick her up, they drove her to the house. Amazing stuff. They're holy people in this year. Hashem should give you bracha and atzlacha. And, should go at it. Hashem should go out of his way for you.
Money.
And my daughter did not offer to pay for the gas or tolls. I asked her, she goes, "That's a thing?" She said, "Girls." You know, I'll offer to pay for the gas and tolls after the share, okay? I'll pay in leftovers from the burger bar tomorrow if you want. Anyways, everyone's invited to stop by. I know it's fun. Maybe not. Okay, whatever.
We'll find out.
Yeah, so here's the story. So here's the hard answer. The hard answer is, you have to realize that there's a certain age that girls get that maybe they're not getting married. So what do you tell that person? Is there anything you can say? What can you say?
Find a higher bridge.
Find what?
A higher bridge.
What do you tell a girl that's never going to get married?
Freeze the egg.
I don't know.
That's what you said last time. I remember.
That is the worst share to give. Okay? So I'll tell you what I said in a second. First, let me just tell you, I would tell you my word on bitterness. That's good. That's Torah. I'll say some real Torah. When they came to the Mayim Hamarim after they left Mitzrayim, the waters were bitter. What did Moshe do?
Through the sticker.
Not a stick, a tree. Like Yoreo ate. He took a tree and he threw a tree into the water, and as soon as he threw the tree into the water, and Nimi, I'm in the middle of the shir. It's okay. You're coming, right? Everyone's coming, or you don't have to. No pressure. Just you're invited. Okay, we'll talk it. Okay, but I'm gonna have another share afterwards. So I'm gonna have like a 5-minute window. Okay.
That's a call was remind.
You have to call all the relatives. People get insulted, and she's my aunt. We're very close, you know. So, and I don't want people to schlep in from the city for this birthday party, and they feel like they have to. You know, it's like complicated, these kind of things. Anyway, so listen by your Moshe threw a tree into the water, and as soon as the tree went in the water, all the water got sweet, delicious water. What's the message? So, can you define bitterness? What does it mean to be bitter? It's important to know that in the Svarim, the mechalik, the Balatanya is mechalik between atzvus and merirus. Sadness and bitterness. Sadness is usser. It's one of the worst midas in the world. Ram Nachman is also mechalik between atzvus and merirus. He also has atzvus and leiv nishbar, which is holy. But everyone agrees that atzvus is no room in Yiddishkeit for sadness, but bitterness is holy. Shouldn't be your whole life, but there's an important. So that's my hint. So what is bitterness? What is bitterness? Merirus. We eat maror on Pesach. This will also be a good shot of why we eat maror. We talk so bad about atzvos, but then on Pesach we talk about maror. Why? So what's merirus? Can you define it? Anybody want to try and define bitterness? Bitterness is the feeling you feel when you never got to be who you wanted, who you were meant to be. The girl who never got married, never had kids. Her whole life was to nurture, and she never got to nurture. The Rav, Talmud Chacham, who never got to give a share. Nobody ever came to the share. It's called merirus, bitter, because I had so much to give. The reason why bitterness is a holy trait is atzvus is I'm sad and I'm broken. Merirus is the feeling that means you still want it. It didn't break you. And it drives you. It makes you call Shabchanim. It makes you continue learning, hoping that someone's come to your share. It makes you offer your services. Merirus is really just the description of yearning for something you don't have. It's just, what's that different than yearning? It's yearning after a while, after more than a couple of years. Still yearning is called bitter. It's called, it hurts. If it doesn't hurt, you're lying, you're in denial. You already came to terms with it. Merirus is a sign of healthiness. Because if you wanted something and it's not happening, so how did that happen? If you're not bitter, what happened? You figured out some way not to care. Or maybe you said that obviously Hashem doesn't want me to have it. Which is, maybe it can be connected to what I really want to talk about today. It's going to be how it connects to the other question of authenticity and God, and that's an important conversation, very deep. What bitterness means is the feeling you feel when you never got to do your thing. So if water is bitter, What's water bitter about? What's water's dream? Does water have a dream? What does water want to do in its life? When a raindrop falls from the sky, what's it thinking about?
Growing, helping things grow.
Right, causing what to grow? What's the symbol of what it wants to grow?
Tree.
Trees. So if you have bitter water, what do?
Tree.
Throw it a tree. And as soon as it gets the tree, what happens? Water becomes sweet. Isn't it amazing what Moshe did? Such a deep lesson. Yeah? If you see a Rav who's bitter, what do? Throw him a shir. Throw him a chavra. Except throw him a chabura, a vad. You'll change his life. A girl's bitter, throw her a chassan. This is the idea. So bitterness is a holy thing. It's important Torah. Never said this as well. It's basic Torah. Okay. And that's why, so now why on Pesach do we eat maror? Because that's what chayrus is. Most people are slaves. What happens? You get broken by slavery. What is the sign that you're free from Egypt? Or that you're savable? That you didn't get, they slaved your body, they didn't enslave your soul. What's the raya? Bitterness. So bitterness, maror, we're trying to make you live. The sign of life is bitterness. It's fascinating. Right? Happiness once you get there, but until you get there, what?
I'm saying latent by the positive status of bitterness.
Yeah, it could be just subtle, because Nachman talks about Mariras also, so it's not necessarily the same thing. But they're both kosher versions of Atzvos. So here's what I told her. I told him to tell her. I don't know if he did it. He was just humoring me. I don't know if he was capable of pulling this off, because this is it's such a. But it could be it's true. That's why I want to share with you. I want to know if you don't answer like instinctually. I said like this. He said the whole idea of a system, the way we raise people, is systems by definition are designed for the masses. A system is to get the maximum growth out of the maximum amount of people. By definition, the weakest people will be hurt by the system and the strongest. You're choosing the sweet spot on the map. The goal is to have a system that gets the largest swath of people and the largest amount of productivity. And you have to figure out, that's the chachma of designing a system, that it benefits the most people in the best way. And on the edges, a smart system has, within the system, we have programs that are weaker, and it's porous enough. The system allows yechidim to find their own way. It doesn't trap people in. That's the smartest system. We serve the masses, but you get rid of the shame of the people who are not good enough. You allow, and you offer them a system for they can also have a role, and then you're porous enough that you allow the talented people who are too large. A lot of systems force you to stay. And I had a yeshiva. When I had my yeshiva in Yardley, I went to the Kalav Rebbe. I was having a very hard time financially, a lot of stuff in the yeshiva. And I went to Kalav Rebbe to ask advice. And he told me one thing. He told me, I tell you, I proof to you, he's a real tzaddik. He told me, this, you're going to have atzlacha, and I just want you to promise me that when guys are doing very well, you send them off to a better yeshiva. You're going to be very tempted to keep the good guys to help you with your yeshiva. And it's a huge nisayon, but you have to let those guys go. And it happened. It was a huge nisayon, let them go. But that's a very important advice. And that's when the system is hasatzlacha, when you allow the guys who are too good for you to go. Otherwise, they're serving you, you're not serving them. It's very, very, that's the only, he didn't tell me 10 advices. That's a pikech. That's huge. It's also cool, in retrospect, I didn't think of that, but it's a cool vote of confidence that the advice he gave me wasn't advice that's only based on that you're going to be matzliach. He's basically telling me, I think you're going to be matzliach, and this is what you should do, which is cool.
Are most yeshivas there serving you?
What?
Most yeshivas nowadays, are they serving you? Like,
Are they doing this? I don't know. I don't know. Who knows? I don't know, So then, just to tell you, just the godless of the Kal Rebbe. So they told me before you go to Rebbe, you never go to Rebbe's, they told me I knew him because he goes to communities. He used to give chizuk, so he came to Yardley. He's the only Rebbe I knew, and I feel like I needed to talk to a Rebbe. So I went to him, because I liked him. And when they told me, you go to Rebbe, you have to give a pidyon, you have to give him a check. So I had no money, but I'm not going to embarrass him. So I wrote him a check for maybe $180, something like that. I'm not sure what I wrote. I wrote him a check, he gave me a lot of time. I was there for an hour. It was me and him. I wrote him $180. He opened my check, he looks at it, and then he takes it, and he takes out his checkbook, and he wrote a check, and he gives me back my check, and he gave me a check for $500. And, I talk to Hasidim who are struggling, and they all say how fake everybody is. So I tell them, I have two stories of Rebbe's. This is one story, and then I tell another story. The other story was very hard, so I should say it on tape. When I was going through my ghetto, it was very hard. Very hard. I had a Rebbe who got me through it then also. The whole niece I got to this Rebbe, I'll tell you the story one day. Amazing story. Real nisim. Crazy moisim. But I had this Rebbe. Like no one knows who he is, but I made him my Rebbe. And he called me Erev Shabbos. Which Rebbe called me Erev Shabbos? And he goes, Yitzchak. So I'll tell you, I forgot who he even said it from. He said it from some Chassidus, some Sefer, or some Rebbe, some famous Rebbe. He says that, you're not allowed to cry on Shabbos. Not allowed to cry on Shabbos. And I hear, he goes, he called me, he gave me, he wished me good Shabbos, he says, you're not allowed to cry on Shabbos. And it was right before Lichtenstein. And I said, thank you for calling, can't believe you ever called. And we hung up. 5 minutes later, he calls me right back. It's after Lichtenstein already. And he goes, I thought about it. He said over from a different Rebbe. He goes, maybe, if you need to cry, you can even cry on Shabbos. He said, it bothered him. They told me that he felt bad. He thought, and he called me back, tell me, I take back what I said. He called me after Lichtenstein already. I said, these are two. I tell this to every Hasidic guy who I'm doing this off there who says the Rebbe's are all fake. I said, I only met Rebbe's twice. These are my two stories. So what do they say? They go, there's nothing. I said, you're obviously in a lot of tsar, but there's real people there. You know the real people. So stop with the fake. Stop with coloring your whole world. You're gonna live now because of your anger. You're gonna deny everything beautiful. I said, I only had these experiences. They're amazing. I'm batting 1,000 still. Rebbes are batting 1,000 by me. It's amazing. And I told him, he said, who are they? I said, I'm going to tell you, you probably could think of 100 people who they might have been, Because it's not one person. I tell you a name, you go, oh, him, Because who is it anyway? So I told him the second one he didn't know who he was. I told him the first one's a Kavra. He goes, okay, Kavra. I said, this is Kavra. I said, the Kavra is not in the top 20. And any list of Rebbes anyone makes, I'm not going to think to put him in the top 10 for sure. Right? He's not like, right? No one says he's the GOAT, I'm telling you that this is the Roiv Rebbes. Anyways, why did I tell you the story now?
Bitterness?
On the girl. You told the guy to say the hard story for the girl?
No, so I was saying systems. I was defining systems. Okay. So systems are just all muscle to explain that systems have to be porous. But systems, the point of a system is you're there. I said people don't realize how much of their lives are systematized. The whole culture, the whole way we do things it's not always what's ideal. I said, who told you that marriage is the highest way to live, that you're going to be so devastated if it never happens? I said, marriage is the best way to live for average people. But there are other ways to change the world, to bring nachas ruach to Rabbeinu Shalom, and marriage often will hurt that. I said, could you imagine what would have happened if Chas v'Shalom, Sarah Schneer would have gotten married? What would have happened if Chas v'Shalom, Sarah Schneer was happened? So I'm sure she would have been an amazing diaper changer. Maybe she wouldn't have been. Maybe she would have been a lousy one. But Klal Yisrael, what would it have done? What? You don't think Sarah Schneer brought more nachas ruach to the Rabbeinu Shalom? I said, you have no idea. You're living here with crazy tsar because you have a blue-collar picture of what it means to be an Eved Hashem. It's beautiful, not knocking motherhood, chas v'shalom, but it's blue-collar. They're a white collar, God bless them. You don't have to be the diaper changer. It'd be a waste of your efforts. Maybe you're bigger. Maybe there are ways that you can change the world. You can focus on people's lives. That I'm not telling you to stop dating, chas v'shalom. But don't waste your life dating without looking to see. Meanwhile, what can I do? And the Rebbeinu Shalom will help you. And if that's what he wants from you, he will open doors for you to. They'll be telling stories about you one day in Beis Yaakov's of what you did, or maybe bigger than Beis Yaakov's, maybe something bigger. So that's what I told her. Is that?
That's pretty radical.
That's so radical.
That's pretty radical.
Radical about that.
I don't think it's radical.
That maybe your
I think there's a lot
tafkid
of
is not to
details are.
think.
I think
I
the
don't
way it
think
could
that's.
be
I don't think
taken
that's a
could be
legal
What?
policy.
the way it could be like heard could be very good. It could be really bad, but it also
Why
could
would
like,
you? Why
get
would you
people
bad?
to
I
hustle.
don't know why is it bad at all.
It's crazy to say, but
But see,
I don't take it that. I'm not saying it's a lie. I think it's true. Why is it true?
What's the big deal saying there's more to life than being married? First of all, like Mateo says, how many people that are married are actually happily married, right? So meaning like
Put this on me.
the point is,
Mati's not his real name. It's just the name that we use. Everyone here has fake names.
exactly, Mateo Spiegel. The point is that yeah, why is that radical?
What?
It's radical.
I didn't even know Sarah Schneider was not married.
I didn't know Sarah Schneider.
I didn't know
She
that.
sounds good.
You ever heard of Sarah Schneider?
I don't know what she did.
She has a
She
college.
created the Beis Yaakov. The whole Beis Yaakov movement.
All right, it's on every resume. Every girl that has a bachelor in liberal arts from Sarah
I was
Schneider.
like, she must be really nice. She's sending me that she
Oh no, she said she went to college with girls. Sarah Schneider was a seamstress in Krakow. And she saw that the girls didn't learn Torah in those days. The boys went to yeshivas, and the girls, it was dangerous. People going over derech. They were, and she fought the whole world to open a girls' yeshiva, a school for girls. They fought her like crazy, but she got brachas from certain gedolim backed her, and eventually they opened every Beis Yaakov in the world. Her original students opened the first Beis Yaakov's, Rebbitzin Kaplan, all these famous Rebbitzins. They're all her Talmidoses. The entire Beis Yaakov movement is Sarah Schneider's. I don't know if there's another person in the world who had a larger hashpah on the universe than, definitely on the Frum universe. We could argue, like, once you get into secular things, maybe, what? No, I'm saying maybe penicillin. I don't know, literally the largest impact in the Frum world. Nobody has had an effect on Frumkeit and the Frum Kehillah like that Sarah Schneider has had. And if she would have been married, could she have dedicated her life to this? And she was fire. I heard an amazing story from her. She had all the Kanoim, right, before Smash House. What did the Kanoim fight with? What did they fight with? So her first school, she was sitting there and someone threw a rock through the window.
That's where you got the name Smash House.
They smashed her house. But, maybe they should put like a picture of Sarah Schneider in their logo, The first one said that ape. That's a good start. Don't put an ape in your logo if you're trying to, okay?
So through rap.
So someone threw rocks. You know what she did? I don't know if it's a true story. I heard this story from the rabbi of the Kaisel. Told the story. And he threw a rock through the window and she told the girl, go get the rock. Go and get me a bag. And the girl went and got like no Ziplocs, but she got a little baggie. She put the rock in and she goes, this is the Evan Hapina for the second school. Amazing. You know, I don't know why we had to go through this whole thing to get here, but you know why? Because maybe the Rebbe Shah felt I put a little too much effort on the giggling, so he wanted you to hear the other side. I doubt Sarah Schneider ever giggled in her life.
Maybe that's why she wasn't married.
So there's a second, and that's why she's not married. But that's why she saved the world. Maybe I robbed this girl.
Yeah, that's it. Maybe she was supposed to.
Yeah,
Maybe
so-
you'd still be on top of
He saw
things.
she wasn't in the trajectory. She's like, I need to get married.
This is why I love this chevra. You're like, this is the important Torah. It's important. The whole dialogue is important. It's a fascinating thing. So are you doing? What I doing a disservice teaching this girl, telling this girl to giggle? Maybe she was.
Not everybody is different.
Everyone's different. Whatever. I figure, you know what? That's always my attitude. My attitude is that if Hashem sent me this girl standing in front of me, He could have sent anybody. He wants me to be me. I have to say what I think, even though I might change my mind in a few years. I can always think that I'm going to change my mind. I'll grow up. I'll have different ideas. That's always, it's important. You know the Chazal by the Churban, it says, "An v'sanusa Zechariah ben Achilas nechar beis kachema." The entire Beis Mikdash was destroyed because of his anova. But his, you know the story that he said the council came and he not council, he came and he put a mum on the animal, and he was going to go back to the king and say the Jews are not going to bring your animal because they didn't know that we don't bring that mum. You know the whole story? And Chazal knew what was going to happen. And Zechariah ben Achilah said, they said maybe we should bring it on the Mizbeach. And even though it's a Baal Mum, to say a Klal Yisrael, he's going back to the king. And he said, no, then people are going to say you're allowed to bring a Baal Mum. So someone else said, so maybe we should kill him. He's a Roidev, if he's going to get the Jews killed. And he said, the people are going to say then whoever makes a Mum and Kodshin is Chayiv Misa. So they let him live. He went back and the whole Churban happened. Because he couldn't take a stand.
That's what she did.
Gedalia.
What?
Gedalia.
Exactly, yeah, same thing. So the point of where you have to. That's my hashkafa. My hashkafa is that someone comes to you, the Rebbeinu Shalom could have sent them anywhere. Whatever is standing in front of you at any moment, the script that you're being given by God is for you to be you at this moment to this thing. Like we're holding, what you're thinking. Hashem didn't send to you 20 years from now. We didn't send to you 20 years ago. He sent to you now. It means the Rebbeinu Shalom wants you to be you. Now you have to be honest and say what's you, and not be insecure or afraid what they're going to say if they put the shir online. Or you have to be you.
I mean, there has to be some self-reflection. Meaning, like obviously, if some people are coming to you
Okay,
giving advice.
I understand. That's what I just said. All that is barvon.
Like the rabbi that called me right before, right after lunch, to tell you, Meister, you're quiet. You know, the guy went back on his.
Well, no, he didn't go back. He maybe he heard my reaction, or he heard how it sounded. At the time, he said what he felt, and then he had more data, and he changes it, and he went back, called me again.
Right.
It wasn't that he made a mistake the first time.
Right.
He gave his authentic opinion the first time, then he gave his authentic opinion again. But it's very important. Every moment, the Rebbeinu Shalom is handing you a script. The script is the words that come to your mind based on everything that happened to you in your life till that moment. That's who you are. So whoever he sent you, he chose you. He could have chose anyone else in the world. He wanted your voice to this person. So the Rebbeinu Shalom is Kol Yachal. He could have sent him anywhere at any time. Whatever you're facing, he chose you. And you can only be you. The avoid of life is don't hold back. Don't be scared. And, all right, that wasn't what the shir was supposed to be, but it's useful. So what I wanted to talk about the shir, we had two questions before the shir. So what triggered this? Oh, you said, am I better to you than 10 kids? That's why I'm saying this. Yeah, our trigger, get a question, now we full circle. Better than 10 kids. Maybe there's things that are better than 10 kids. So Shneur has thousands of kids. Hundreds of thousands of kids. And I suggest the Olam here should be ashaming themselves for like 2 minutes that you didn't know who she was, and then after the shame is over, like every time we feel ashamed, everyone didn't know. Every time you feel a little bit ashamed, you should go read up on her. Google.
Ashamed or bitter?
What's the
What?
college?
You're ashamed or bitter?
Be ashamed. Be ashamed. Be ashamed. What? And go Google her name and learn a little bit about her. I'm sure.
College is gonna come out.
No, you won't go. Yeah, that's interesting.
What's the guy version of giggling?
Of what? Giggling? Yeah.
It's a very deep question.
Listen.
This actually matters to
The
us.
guy version of giggling might be, tell me this is too radical, the opposite of giggling. that cocky thing that every guy wants to be. When you're a man, you don't want to be weak. When the guy starts being gentle and soft, it means he lost his zachras.
What's that radical?
It means he's broken. A girl's beauty and innocence, her tara, is shattered. She gets jaded. A guy is cynical and sarcastic and skeptical. When he starts to be trusting and innocent and giggly, that means that he lost his edge. He's playing it safe and sweet, as opposed to being aggressive. I'm not saying to be mean, but to be edgy, to be skeptical, to be a little bit cynical. Prove it. The second you become trusting and innocent and totally accepting, which is what giggling is, it means you lost your step. What do you hold it at?
Not bad.
It's dangerous.
This is why we get the big bucks. No, it's an important answer. It's an important answer. It fits very well. It fits very well with the man-woman principle that we're opposites of kedusha and tara. So the woman's her tara is innocence, purity, and the man's greatness is his edginess of the aggressiveness. Ambition is his yetzer tov. So when a man gets too accepting, it means that his ambition is what's the opposite of ambition?
Complacency.
Yeah, or accept a lot of words, right? Complacency is fine, but in complacency is a negative word. Can you come up with a positive word that people use positively that might be the opposite of ambition?
Chilling.
Acceptance. Accept. We so beautiful. Accept. You know. Ambition means I don't accept it. I'm tenacious. Tenaciousness is an amazing midah in a man.
I think you could have both at the same time.
Okay. It's true. But the importance is to be cognizant that it's not necessarily a mindless for a person to lose tenaciousness.
No, I think you could have tenaciousness with acceptance.
It depends on what. Well, I don't know.
And any accomplishment.
You can make anything dance, but I don't know.
Meaning
I don't
for
know.
example, I was listening to something over here. This Jewish guy went over to a quarterback who won 4 Super Bowls. And the first question he asked him was like, do you ever think about that one that you
Do
lost?
you know which quarterback it was?
Yeah, Troy Aikman.
That's the Cowboys.
Yeah.
No, the Cowboys didn't win 4.
They won 3 and they lost 1.
Yeah, the Steelers won 4.
Yeah, but
Who was the Steelers quarterback?
Terry Bradshaw?
Terry Bradshaw. That was their slogan, one for the thumb. Greatest slogan ever. Talking about the rings. One for the thumb. That is the best slogan.
The point is,
You said 1-4. You said 1-4. So you were wrong. It wasn't the Cowboys. It was the Steelers.
It was the
I'm tenacious. I'm not accepting what you said. You were wrong.
You're a little too tenacious.
What?
The point is, no, he said that.
Wait. You reversed the
No, I
acceptance?
didn't. No,
Oh,
because
you
he
got
said
offended.
very simply. He said that he's like I don't think about the one that we lost. He's like I think about the 3 that we won. It's a ridiculous psychology to constantly be upset about the losses versus the wins. And I get the human desire to do that myself.
So now, not only did he lose his Super Bowl, why? The guy couldn't win a 4th Super Bowl, and you're gonna learn. You're learning Torah from him.
Listen, Tishma. Imagine Sarah Shira at the end of her life.
What?
That's a tough insult.
Imagine Sarah Shira at the end of her life. You come to her deathbed, and she's like, "Oh, there was one girl in one school that I felt like I could have helped. I feel like my life is a waste." And Feldheim goes, "Correct." No, you say, "Are you crazy? You live a beautiful life. You help so many people."
First of all, everything that you said was great, except what was the last thing you stuck in? You stuck in that you didn't need to stick in. You knew when you stuck in that you didn't need it, but you subconsciously realized that your argument wasn't compelling enough, so you added that in, which wasn't the point. What was that?
Lies.
No, the last thing you just said. What did you add in? That it was a waste. I never said that. I never said your life was a waste. You had to add that in. You get rid of the word waste, my point still exists, and it's no
That's what you tell
acceptance.
somebody on the deathbed.
You don't. To say that my life was that I could have done better. There was more to do. I left stuff on the table. Is a right midah. Nobody would say that he'd say your life is a waste. I never went. Nobody. That's not what acceptance is. Acceptance is to say my life was exactly what it was supposed to be. It might not be able to have both. I don't know. Could you think about it for real?
Yeah, it definitely has to be a level of acceptance. I mean, like, it's a famous stat in baseball that best hitters in baseball strike out, 2 out of 3 times, right?
listen, it's an uphill battle for me to argue against the word acceptance, but I'm tenacious and I'm ambitious. My instinct right now feels that any time that you have acceptance, it's at the cost of ambition. Now, I think here's how I would say. Here's how I would say. Let me say this. Maybe there's the past, because a lot of this stuff that people say, and you'll find rebbes who say this, but you have to understand a lot of things that people say are rachamim. Right, it's compassion, and it's not emes. If the person, not emes, emes is a broad word, but if the person is capable of hearing it, that's not what they would say. They're a hospital. Those are hospital words. Those are compassion words. I don't know if it's good to accept. If you have a person who's strong enough, I would not tell him to accept. I was saying, you're feeling that there's more, don't give in.
So that means no matter what, you'll always have regrets.
Not regrets.
Not regrets.
Well, you're sort of
Hunger.
longing, right? You're like, well, if only.
So longing is a nicer way to say why you call it regrets. Longing.
Regrets. Ambition.
First of all, a person who is being productive, what do you think he feels? This whole idea of focus on what you did rather than what you didn't do, that's such pop culture. That means you're totally not real, and I'm telling you which things to feel. A real person feels the authenticity of what he is. So he doesn't need to hear schmooze what to focus on. Focus on means we already accept this huge Torah. Focus on means that we're already accepting that you're going to be detached and you're not going to feel what your life is about. So I'm asking you to check into a little part of your life. Mm-hmm. So check in on this. We want to know what a compromised thing that is. To tell you to focus on something means I'm assuming that you're not focused. It could be I'm being philosophical, and in the real world, everyone's checked out.
Nobody's focusing every moment.
Okay, I understand. So we're talking theoretical. That's what I'm saying. When someone's saying that, it's an expression that you say to the weak, to the broken part of us that disconnected. You're making an argument that who do you know is not a little broken? Maybe, but I'm just calling it. I'm right to call it a hospital. Everyone's in the hospital, maybe that could be. But you agreeing with me first that the statement focus on the good, not the bad, not the bad. What it's a weird thing to say in an absolute sense. What do you mean? How could you're assuming that it's possible for a person to live things and not be focused? This whole word "focus" is a weird word. Focus means that there's two things. There's living something and experiencing it. Shouldn't experience be the automatic result of living on it? I shouldn't need a new word to focus?
Oh, it's life is what
you hear that point?
No, what's that?
Really? We're talking about
Life is what you focus on. What's that?
No, because in order to say life is what you focus on means that you had to have a prerequisite that you are detached from your experiences, and you have to choose to reattach.
Just one second. If somebody, God forbid, doesn't have likes, and he decides to think of himself as a winner, he could focus on the fact that he doesn't have likes. But it's not important to focus on your likes because you don't have it. A person who's totally real, and loses their legs, what are they going to feel? Totally real. What they're going to feel is, I don't have legs. Wow, I'm missing so much stuff. Everything else still works. I can do so much stuff. Every single thing is always there. He doesn't have to focus on it. That's called authenticity. He's authentic. He's experiencing his gifts. What happens is
he's never going to forget that he's losing his life. It's not going to happen. But if he's focusing, meaning at the forefront of his mind, is all the things that he could do, he'll be better off than someone who's focusing. You're focused on.
Again. We have this conversation, which is it's too late in this year to get into it thoroughly, but this conversation is based on a need to first divide and say, are we going to talk about this theoretically or practically for our lives where we are now? In a theoretical sense, we can discuss logically what makes sense, and then we can acknowledge that yes, we're all checked out, and when you're checked out, you want to be productive. So I'll tell you to focus on the positive things, try and keep your mind away from the negative things, but that is a recipe for compromise. What would non-compromise be? To be, if I say be all that you can be, I would say Don't deny anything in your life. Face your truth. Now, and then you'll say, but you can't tell this guy that because he's going to be destroyed by the negativity. And I'll say, why? He's not aware of the positivity. The positivity overwhelms it. The negatives in our life are so tiny. The positives are infinite. So, yeah, but he's not going to be able to understand that. No, that just means you're not a good Baal Masber. Like, when did we write off reality as the ultimate goal? It may be that we're not ready for it, but it should be in every conversation. At least for sure in a shir to intelligent guys. Every shir should start with what the theoretical truth is. And the theoretical truth is that we should be able to discuss everything first without saying the word focus on ever. Focus means choose a subset of your life. It's your life. Why you assume the Rebbeinu Shalom gave you a life that you can't experience? You should be able to experience it. He's not sending you things that you couldn't deal with. That means that everything in your life, if you were totally on your game, in fact, when you're choosing to focus on something, you're vetoing God. Because God gave you 8 experiences and you're focusing on 3 of them. If God thought you could only deal with 3, He would have given you 3. He gave you 10. No?
What's that? Did you
Why
say
can't
about Star
you
You gave the girl a speech. You gave the girl a speech about Star
You
Shir.
only focus on one thing at once.
You gave the girl a speech about Star Shir. That's exactly my point. You said, "Oh, what's she focused on? I don't have kids." You're like, that's one. So let's change the word from focus to perspective. One perspective is you don't have kids, or you could say, "Wow, God gave me the ability to change the world."
Okay, I like the word perspective better than focus because what perspective says is
reality.
it's already acknowledging. It's already
It's
acknowledging.
not
It's acknowledging that I'm dealing with a subset of reality. Focus is sort of denying everything else. Perspective is saying, look at it this way for a moment,
Right.
and then and that's sort of what he's saying. That
Isn't it possible?
I accept the word perspective. That means that there's different times, and it doesn't have to be at any one moment. But even so, the first choice should be: can you focus on it all at one time? When you determine it's not possible, then you can start with perspectives. But perspective is not the initial lechatchila. It's already a b'diavad.
Isn't it possible that some negative thoughts come from the Yitzchak, like to make you feel bad about yourself and those kind of things?
All of them come from you. That's what
So,
you do.
all those thoughts come in and now you have to sift through them? Is that what you're saying?
What am I saying? Going to get to the Yitzhak?
Well, no, because all these thoughts coming in, not all of them.
Yeah, no, so
Hashem's giving them all you, but at the same time, the Yitzchak is giving you negative thoughts like low self-esteem and like whatever negative thoughts could be detrimental to you. So you have to sift through them and like.
see, that's very heavy what you're saying. You just threw in something that really changes the whole conversation. We were talking about someone who never got married, someone who doesn't have legs
Or hands.
or hands. These are things a matter of perspective and focus on it, and they're all true. You just said a different thing, lack of self-esteem. Lack of self-esteem is different, because lack of self-esteem is not a reality. It's already a reaction. You're already talking about people's reaction to reality, right? So it's a different conversation. And to that, you're right. We could talk about lack. Something that's a lie, like your lack of self-esteem, because you're a rock star. And if you feel lack of self-esteem, something went wrong in your processing. Someone forgot to tell you about how amazing you are. Or maybe they told you the opposite. But when I say you have to include everything that's in your experience, everything that's true, lies are not part. You are not a zero. You are not worthless. Any thought like that is not part. Missing legs is a real thing. Missing self-esteem is a lie. Now it might be your truth now, but I have no problem telling you that don't think about that. It's a lie, and if you can't get rid of the lie, don't focus on it. That wouldn't bother me. Everything I'm saying about focus would not apply to lie. What?
Your mind only focusing on one thing at a time. You're
You think so?
Experience, yes.
Well, what does that mean? Let's.
Right now I'm focusing on you talking, right? And I'm not really.
Let me ask a question.
Yeah.
Now, some people can listen to me, and the only thing they hear are my funny things like giggles. And other people only hear my right-wing Haredi stuff.
Right.
And you're hearing everything I said.
Okay.
Okay? So in me, you can split that here and divide it up. So you understand that there's a fully listening to me, and then there's subsets listening to me. Now, so maybe listening to me is already, you split the ears of everyone in this shir was talking. If you didn't hear their questions, you only heard me, then you missed the whole point of the shir. The shir was unbelievably collaborative, and it was a product of everyone's things. So if you listen to me, you missed it. So you have to listen to everybody. And now you have to realize that you're listening to everybody in this room. It was sad, because there's a lot of other rooms in this building, and a lot of other buildings on this block, and a lot of other blocks in this neighborhood, and a lot of other neighborhoods. The world is huge. And what should you be listening to? Right?
You're saying everything.
Well, everything that's exposed to you. Everything that the Rebbeinu Shalom brought onto your screen. Reb Noach says this, Reb Noach Weinberg says this somewhere. He says, like, when do you become responsible for something? At what point, a lot of things go on in the world, at what point do you become responsible? It's a good question. I'm not saying his answer is the best answer, but there's value in his answer, a very important value. I don't know, anything? You're driving down the road and there's a firm guy standing there with a flat tire. At what point do you have to stop for him? At what point can you just drive on?
You go to a share.
It's a good question. When there's a lot of things going on, at what point do you become responsible? So his argument does, what?
When you see kids in Africa.
When what?
There's starving kids in Africa.
Starving kids in Africa. Right?
Well, you can only do one thing right now. Starving kids in Africa, you can't really help unless you're able to wire. I don't know. But right
I
now,
think his answer was the second you become aware of the problem, you become, now you become responsible. The question is there anything you can do? Could be you have a responsibility, but you have no tools for it. That could be. But you become responsible for anything that you're aware of. I never really went through that thing to flesh it out like years later when I got deeper. So let's do it right now for a second. Do you buy that? Is that true? The second that you become aware of something, it now becomes your achayis?
No.
Partially, but I mean, you may have other responsibilities. You're on your way to a meeting. You're on your way to help someone else. You're not responsible to help someone on the side of the road.
well, what is
If you can, and you don't
We're gonna stop.
Well, what is responsibility?
What?
What is
Okay,
responsibility?
this is a whole new conversation.
Getting into
Something to think about. What did we cover now?
Stop.
Was okay? Was productive? I don't know. Whatever.